Hello, everyone. Welcome back to As Told by Zinc with your host, Samantha. I'm in studio with Kelly. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. We just traveled to get juice, so we're hanging out a little bit. I stole her in an Uber. So as everyone knows, I don't drive. You were probably like, wait, what?
I know. I actually didn't realize that. I've listened to the podcast, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, I haven't driven in over 10 years. So
Wow.
now whenever I just go places in Ubers, people in LA are just...
I don't have a car, so I relate. I have a car today, but like usually I don't. It's my fiance's car. Shout out to him for letting me borrow it for the day. But usually if I need a car, I just rent it. But 9 times out of 10, I don't.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
So you resonate, kind of.
I will drive, but I'd rather not.
If you need to, you can.
If I need to, I can, but I'd really rather not.
Okay, I think that we should make this a regular thing that people just know we're driving. Whenever I tell people I don't drive, they're like, you are saving so much money and the parking and I don't leave my house much anyways. So
That's how I feel. I'm like, I can walk to the grocery store, guys. Like, it's okay.
I have a Trader Joe's right next to me, so. And the only time I guess, leave, meetings, yes, but just to like go to dinners and such, I don't want to worry about parking. So I'm like, and then funny enough, my friends who drive end up Ubering anyways. So I'm
because of the parking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and they're going to drink way too many dirty martinis, too. And not want to leave their car to get towed. But, yeah, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'm going to go through sort of a few, like, I love to do, like, a little intro and then diving into all things social media because you are a full-time content creator. Mm-hmm. Okay, amazing. And there's like a nice mix of content creators who have 9-to-5s and then those who took it on full time. So I always like to just see what your story is. But before we dive in, I did see you on social media recently.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
The hairbrush?
The hairbrush.
So when I found out
the hairbrush.
When I found out you were coming on the pod, I was like, wait, I know this girl because I'm so in tune with social media. I have this like slight, obviously with my job, I'm obsessed. I know everybody. But I saw that was like a very recent viral moment.
It was.
Your hair looks great.
She survived. She's good. She's good to go.
Can we talk about it?
Yes. I feel like everyone wants the story time, and I'm like, you guys, there's really not that much tea to this, unfortunately.
But I'm glad that I'm getting it.
But you're getting it.
Podcast.
Yes, for the podcast. So really, I was just traveling, and I was filming an ad for Redken. Shout out to Redken. Love them. Not for the brush. I know so many people were like, for the brush? No, absolutely not.
I was going to say damage control.
Damage control, not for the brush. But I got curtain bangs for my ad. The ad with Redken was so cute. Turned out fabulous despite the chaos. But I got curtain bangs, and I was like, I really need a round brush. But I didn't have time, so I just ordered one on Instacart, and I was like, round brush, done. Like, check. We're good to go. Wrong. You can't just order a round brush. I got it, and it had like the ball tip bristles, and I was like, this isn't really what I had in mind. I was expecting like nylon, boar bristles, something like that. No, that's not what we got. And I looked at it, and I was like, I've blown out my hair 100 times. Like, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Wrong. It never even crossed my mind that my hair could get stuck in this brush. Like, I've used so many, like the Wavy Talk round brush, the Amika one, T3, like you name it, I've probably played with it, and it just never occurred to me. So that's how that happened. But I would
do the same thing. I mean, I think a brush is a brush.
Yeah, and I looked at it, and I was like, the bristles don't look right, but like it says blowout brush, so like I'm sure it's fine. It was not fine. And
so you started recording, and you just
I was 2 hours in. I was 2 hours in before I recorded that video. And like what made it so awful, I think, is that I was traveling and like I was in DC. I don't know anyone really. I was supposed to meet this girl from social media, and I was like, I can't meet you like this. Like this can't be how we
show
meet.
Up to drinks with the brush in your hair.
So I canceled. I was like, I'm so sorry, I have a brush stuck in my hair. I like emailed the Redken team, screenshot and all of my hair stuck in this brush, because I was like, people are gonna think that I'm making this up. Like, who does this? But yeah, I ended up having to wait for my fiance to like make it and rip each individual bristle of the brush out. He was there for work. So he goes for work. I obviously work remotely. So I go with him when I can.
I'm glad he was there. And I thought you were there and didn't know anyone, actually.
I mean, he is the only person. But like when he's at work, he is at work. He is radio silent, no phone access. So for like 6 hours, just nothing. And I'm like calling my mom, my friends. One of my sisters is a hairdresser. I was like, hey, how do I fix this? And even she was like, I'm really not sure how you even did that. So
crazy. And then, so what made you decide that you wanted to post the TikTok?
Well,
or the real, whatever it was.
I feel like as a creator, like there's some moments where you're like, this is funny. Like as distraught as I was during, like I was like, everyone's done this. Like honestly, everyone's done this, and we'll crowdsource some ideas and we'll just see how it goes. I definitely didn't think that like 20 million people were gonna see my hair stuck in a brush. Like that was kind of an L. And now I have a new anxiety that like I'm gonna go out and people are gonna be like, hey, you're the girl who got her hair stuck in a brush. Like that is my new top tier fear. Fortunately, I went to the Amazon Creator Summit right after, and a bunch of people were like, oh my God, I saw that video, but like not until they were on my profile. So it looks like I might get by unscathed. Fingers crossed.
I'm cracking up. I know you. It could be worse. At least At least it's a hairbrush.
Yeah.
I had a client.
And I didn't have to cut my hair.
And you didn't have to cut it, so nothing bad happened. But I do think like the viral moments do stick with you, because I remember years ago, I remember seeing this girl on Instagram, and she got Botox, and one of her eyes was like funky from it. You know what I'm talking about? Like the eye gets weird. And she went all over, like, it was going viral on the news, and she was, like, known as, like, the eye Botox girl. So then when she reached out to me for representation, I was like, oh, my gosh, it's the Botox. Like, I know her. But I think it's kind of cool, you know?
It is cool, and, like, it's been interesting. You know, virality definitely has its benefits, like, obviously, but sometimes you're like, wow, could it have been anything else?
I remember seeing your video, and I was like, is it real? And then I'm like looking, I'm like, oh my God, it's literally. So I think I saw like bits of your mascara from crying.
The mascara all over my face, like the makeup in the center of my face gone, because I went through the entire box of tissues at the hotel. How embarrassing! And I think the worst part is like I'm reading through everything online, obviously, because where else do you go other than Google in this circumstance? And it's like, get a rat's tail comb. So I order it on Instacart. Yet again, I didn't learn my lesson. And it gets delivered to the hotel, and I call the lobby, and I'm like, can you please bring this to the room? And they're like, we actually have a policy that doesn't allow that. And so I have to tell the person in the lobby, like, hey, I have a brush stuck in my hair, and I would really, really love it if I could not enter the lobby right now. Like, is there any way around that policy? And a very kind woman did bring that to my room, but I'm like huddled behind the door, trying not to be seen with this brush in my hair. But then, so I posted it for the internet, so I guess what was the point?
I mean, I love that kind of stuff too, because, it's the realness. You're like in the moment, you're like, I'm just going to post it. I think that's like what social media needs to be. Not always like the perfect moments, but like I'm filming an ad and I might be bald in a few hours. Hi guys.
Yeah, like I don't know if they'll still want to work with me if I don't have any hair anymore, but like let's find out.
Oh my gosh. But he got it out. It was just a bunch of
It was like 30 minutes of him plucking them out and done.
Okay,
I was like, wow, I waited 6 hours for you to come home.
I can't even.
For something that would have taken 30 minutes. And I was obviously distraught the whole time, because I'm like, I'm going to have to like figure out how to get extensions. I've never had extensions.
Like you're going to have like the spikies.
Yeah. Like a little bald spot right on the top of my head.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad that it worked out. And now you have, did you get okay, so is that your first time going viral?
I mean, I've gone viral, but not like that degree of viral. And I feel like earlier TikTok, I wasn't equipped for the degree of virality. Like some part of me is happy that it was 2 years into my career so that I could like really make the most of it and not just like hide under a brick, because I mean, that's kind of what you want to do, going viral for something like that. You're like, I don't need to read these comments. Thank you so much.
Was there mean comments? There can't be.
I mean, it depends.
Oh my God.
On TikTok, they were much nicer, but I posted a different video kind of upset about the brush itself because it put on the inside of the box not to wrap your hair around the brush. And so I kind of critiqued that. And
I don't even read boxes.
I read the outside, but like, how am I supposed to know that you put additional instructions inside your packaging? Like,
that's true.
Who reads inside of the box?
Wait, did the brand reach out to you?
No. Isn't that shocking? I even like there's like hundreds of tags.
Because I mean, like when in situations like that, like they should like send you to the Bahamas or something.
I know.
On like
I did.
like
admittedly, I threw out all of my Con Air after that. Like, sorry to them, but I think my relationship with them has ended.
I can't believe they didn't even try to like do damage control.
I'm shocked, but like also, what are you gonna do? Like, there's thousands of comments of people
are so
saying
funny
that
about it. I see damage control and brands like do the best. Like some brands are really good at it.
Well, I guess Con Air isn't the best at it. I haven't heard from them. Maybe
they
after
are
this.
Definitely the worst at. That's not good.
But yeah, they could have been funny.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like
they could have been funny. Something. They could have taken advantage of it and been like, "You're so right. We made a better brush. Let us send it to you."
And we named it Kelly.
Yeah, like, and it's so funny. But I feel like it's tough. It's got to be tough for them as a brand because thousands of comments of like, we've all been victimized by this particular brush. And I didn't end up making a video about it, but I did look up videos, obviously, of people with a brush stuck in their hair, and a lot of them are that brush in different colors.
Well, honestly, I'm glad that you put it out there and brought some awareness to that. I mean, because you're saving women around the world.
I know. And honestly, I went straight to TikTok. Nobody had pliers on TikTok. And that was my solution. And I feel like for that brush, like the rat's tail comb is great on a regular round brush.
Yeah.
But that brush has V-tipped bristles. So the base is a V, and your hair gets stuck in the very bottom of that V.
I would be freaking out. Your hair looks, I mean, like, I don't even think it did anything.
You can't tell. No. Thankfully. There's maybe a few split ends in there, but it's okay.
Oh my gosh. I saw that recently, and then ironically you were coming on the podcast unrelated. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I know who this is. Kelly. Yep. The 2025 bride, cute blonde with a hairbrush in her hair.
I know.
So, well.
But the hair is saved for the wedding, so that's
thank God.
thrilling.
I mean, that would have been like the worst, the worst thing ever.
I would have been so stressed.
When you're engaged, everything's about the wedding, right?
I know, kind of. It took me a while to I eased into it. We got engaged in November of last year, and it took me, honestly, until like May of this year to be like, let's start.
You were enjoying.
I was hanging out. I was chilling.
Okay, well, let's actually, fiance, and then where you're from. Let's start there. Let's backtrack a little. Okay. I just wanted to talk about the hot topic first because I was curious. I was like, how did we fix this? Because your hair is amazing. So where are you from? You live in LA now. You're from Atlanta. How did we meet fiance?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Kansas.
But
I did my master's in Atlanta at Georgia State. And then I moved to LA. I was working like influencer events at the time. And I met Adam like a month into living in LA, which was great. Mm-hmm. I was so lucky. I'm very grateful for that because I hear the horror stories from my friends, and I don't have any, thankfully. But we met on a dating app called The League, which I feel like nobody uses, but I did. It's
very East Coast, I feel.
Had a great time. So yeah, he was actually my first date on the app, and we lived like a mile apart, which is wild in LA. I feel like that never happens, so... Yeah, it worked out really well.
So you moved here and then matched with him, and then
the rest is history.
Really?
We truly went on one date, and I like dodged his kiss on the first date. I was like, that's not for me. I'm so sorry. And I was so nervous because like our date went exceptionally well. And I was like, oh my God, I really hope that I didn't ruin that, like dodging his kiss. But now that we've, chatted about it years later, he was like, no, you were cute. Like, you smiled. I knew it was okay. Not that you, didn't like me. So
It's
it
so
worked
cute.
out.
So many girls do that too. My girlfriends will always do stuff like that, and then they're like, if they don't hear from the guy, they're like, it's because I didn't kiss him. I dodged the kiss. I'm like, no, we're thinking about it way too much.
We're thinking about it too much. Stick to your guns. If it's not your vibe, it's not your vibe. Like, to me, I'm like, we just met. I don't know anything about you. I just feel like I can't.
We're not going to kiss on the street right now. Like,
Yeah.
you're just text me at date 2.
Maybe date 2, yeah.
Wait, what did he do for the date?
He was so on top of it. Like, booked dinner reservation. I have food allergies, and he was like, not a problem. Found somewhere that was like good at accommodating everything. Had it on the calendar, booked the time, all was well. I think his initial suggestion was drinks, and I was like, I don't drink, so maybe dinner. And he adapted well.
Really?
So, yeah. He was just like, dinner it is.
Well, you probably changed, so he is used to going on dates and like over the drinks, but you're like, I'm going to show you, or did he drink on the date?
I don't really remember. He might have gotten a drink. I got a mocktail. I was a little bit early because I was nervous about being late.
Yeah.
And so I was like at the bar, which had to be weird for him walking in because I'm holding a drink after saying that I don't drink, but it was definitely a mocktail. So yeah, I mean, I'll occasionally have like half a glass of wine, but I feel like you can't go to drinks and then like get a drink and not really drink it.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks awkward, and then people are like, are you okay?
And yeah, I feel like in that situation, dinner's fun. So many people are against dinner, but I'm like, it doesn't have to be weird for a first date.
It doesn't have to be.
know?
I am a dinner date only. Like, if you're on a first date, I feel like it's dinner date or nothing. But it does depend. Like, I understand the fear that you're going to be trapped at dinner with someone that you don't like.
Is that the fear? I'm more so just nervous that I forget how to eat. I'm like, and then I like, I'm so nervous I don't have an appetite. So I'm like just picking the chips and like being like a little bird.
I do agree that like I'll pick at the food, and I'm weird about food because I have food allergies. So I'm like kind of stressed. I'm like, please don't poison me on this date.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's cute.
It worked out.
I love that. And so you guys have been together ever since. And
yes.
Okay, engagement. I have a lot of female listeners, I think. So we have to like are you cool to dive into the wedding stuff before content creation? Okay.
Absolutely. We got engaged in Bora Bora. It was absolutely beautiful.
Sounds
and
amazing.
It was so funny. I went with him on a work trip to Australia. He was there for like a work conference. And I'm like, great, I get to go to Australia. This is awesome. So it's already great for me. And then he's like, I have a little surprise. And obviously my spidey senses are tingling. Like, we've looked at engagement rings. I kind of know that it's coming. And so I'm like, oh my God, he's going to propose. And then he ends up telling me that we're going to Bora Bora. And I'm like, oh. So like, that's the surprise. We're going to Bora Bora. And he's like really pushing a trip in December, a mysterious trip that I'm not allowed to contribute to. And like, I should pick white for that. So he's really pushing that he's going to propose in December. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to be disappointed. So like, it's not happening. He's probably telling me this so that I'm not like crushed on this trip when he doesn't propose.
Oh my gosh.
And he proposed on the dead last day. Like, we're leaving the next morning. So at that point, I'm convinced that it's obviously not happening. And I'm like, you just have to make the most of the trip. It's not this trip. Like, don't worry about it. And he suggested we take pictures at 5 o'clock in the morning at sunrise, which we've done on previous trips. So like, this did not raise any red flags for me. But it should have. Like, it really should have. Like, looking back, and he made a comment about how he, like, chatted with the photographer at the hotel, but it was, like, $700. And I'm like, no, that's, like, unhinged. Like, I'm not paying that. And I have a camera with me. Like, it's no big deal. We'll just do it ourselves. I do regret that a little, but I do think our pictures from the proposal were still really cute. And we did engagement pictures later. Yes. I took them all myself on my G7X. Love her for traveling. So yeah, he proposed in the morning, and I was so shocked. Like, I really was dead set that it wasn't happening. He was too casual about the whole trip. Like, we've done, the one-on-one, like, dining where it's just the two of you with private dining at resorts and stuff. And he didn't book anything like that. No dinner reservations, nothing. Like, he was so casual to the point where I was like, it just can't be. Like, this man isn't casual, really. So This is the surprise. But I feel like him doing it that way made it way more surprising.
Well, because it wasn't super over the top like you're used to. It was more so from the heart and simple and just
like,
you two.
Very casual. I mean, casual. It was in Bora Bora. Like,
Yeah,
it wasn't that simple, but it wasn't like overly staged, which I feel like was nice. But it was a little bit harder because it was like at sunrise and they had like this beautiful lookout, but people were there. And I was like, no, I'm going to get my picture. And he was like really waiting for them to leave and was like, it's okay. And I was like, no, I mean, it's fine. Like if they're there. But he probably didn't want anyone there because he was trying to propose and I just obviously didn't know.
You thought you were just doing your photos.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to know. What do you mean that you guys do sunrise photos a lot?
Well, on trips, we've done like sunrise pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like anywhere, I feel like when you're staying at a resort, like it's so packed. Okay. And we did, like, on our very first trip, we did sunrise pictures on, like, a hike and black sand beach in Hawaii, and it was absolutely beautiful. I always joke that they're my fake engagement photos. We'd been dating for, like, 3 months, but I was in, like, a white dress, and so they kind of looked like engagement pictures.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, we've done it before just so that you get the pictures and nobody's really there and it's less editing, and I'm a morning person anyway, so I don't mind being awake.
So it's like the content creator in you.
Yes, it's the content creator in me, for sure.
Like, what do you mean that you do these like 5 a.m. photos? I love it though. It makes sense because, like you said, the beach is clear. So
yes,
otherwise
really
you wouldn't
just
get the shot.
Being a lazy editor, truthfully.
Like, is he into the content creation as well?
No.
Oh, no.
He's a physicist. Like, he really is so far from content, but he does occasionally let me take pictures, so very
that's
kind.
good. And it was a special occasion,
yes.
So. Well, I love that. I think that's amazing. And now you're like full bridal
era, wedding planning. My mom and sister get in tomorrow. We're going wedding dress shopping.
Oh
I'm so excited.
Do you have anything planned?
I have a million bridal appointments. Like, I'm a little bit nervous that I put too many in one day, but I'm going to find out.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't do more than 3 in a day, so.
No, I think that's good.
I feel like that'll be good.
And do you know where you want to get married?
We have our wedding venue booked. It's outside of San Diego. It's really beautiful, so I'm very excited.
How did you choose that?
I highly recommend, if you're looking for a wedding venue, that you stalk all of the planners and photographers in that area that you're looking, because they know all the venues. And so if you're looking through like wedding planners and wedding photographers, they usually tag venues. And that's how I found my venue.
That's so smart.
Like going through all of their tagged locations.
I love that idea. Yeah, I'm just on TikTok. I get targeted with so many weddings. I think they're in Europe. I'm not even sure. And they look like, you know, like a royal wedding vibe. And I just save.
Yeah. I know, but it's been humbling. Like, the way that I thought I had a reasonable budget, and I realized, like, every wedding that I've seen on social media is probably, like, $200,000.
It's crazy.
Because I feel like we have a decent budget. And I'm out here, like, no florist, like, day of coordinator only. Like, it still feels like we're penny pinching. And I'm like, this is not an insignificant amount of money. Like, it's just so crazy. Yeah. And then I'll get quotes and they'll be like, it's $20,000 and no chairs. And I'm like, wow.
No chairs.
Okay.
And the chairs are, my friends always complain about the chairs.
But my venue is very kind. A lot of things are included. Love that for me. But I still have had some road bumps with them of it being like, I'll reach out to a vendor and they're like, we actually charge extra for that venue. And I'm like, oh.
Why?
You're on their preferred vendor list and it's extra. That's not what I was expecting.
They just always upsell. I also have a hot take. I know everyone goes florist, but I think the candles are more luxury.
I'm doing candles and I love the candles. Costco flowers. And like, I have 5 siblings. So I will be putting them to work with those little bud vases and some Trader Joe's roses. Like, they can figure it out.
Yeah, I love the candles. They
don't all know that yet.
I think it's just so romantic.
I do too, but a lot of venues don't let you have them.
Okay, fair. I mean, I get it. Yeah.
Like the open flame. Yeah. But my venue has candlestick holders, so I'm like, it feels like you guys will allow me to use those.
Yeah.
So
I love it when I see on TikTok at night and then obviously the glass around it, but it's all candles. I'm like, I think that looks more luxury than the the flowers.
I know.
Plus, after the flowers, what do you do with them? They're just garbage.
A lot of people donate them, actually.
Well, that's good. Yeah,
So you can donate them to like a local hospital or something like that, and then they get to enjoy your beautiful wedding flowers, which I look forward to doing. But I will be doing that with my Costco flowers instead.
Well, they'll love it. Yeah.
They'll still be beautiful. You know, I'm like, nobody's going to remember flowers. You're going to remember food, drinks, maybe the DJ, like the music, the vibes, the venue.
Yes, exactly.
But you just can't convince me anyone remembers flowers other than me.
They don't.
It was a hard thing to come to terms with because I love flowers. And like all of my Pinterest boards are definitely flower heavy, but I was like, it's just not. It's not worth $10,000 to me.
Yeah, put that to
have
like the bar and the DJ. I think that's better. The vibes and like people having fun over the flowers.
It sets the vibes way more, and I agree with you. Like the candles still give luxury, so.
I love the candles, honestly. I love those videos. I just think
know,
it looks so
beautiful.
luxury.
And like the big long table.
Yes.
Love it.
My gosh, I can look at those videos all the time.
I know.
Or when you see, do you think your fiance's going to cry?
I don't know. We'll see. I haven't seen him cry, but like maybe. But I think we're going to do a separate first look, so we'll see. And I definitely want to hire a content creator to like help with behind the scenes stuff because I don't want to be stressed about it. Like I know that I want wedding content,
you need
but
someone, and you can't trust your friends because
I mean all my friends are content creators. So
like,
they
are?
I can trust them, but
okay, good.
I don't want to put them to work. You know?
I'm just like I couldn't trust for my event that I just had. I hired someone as a content creator because I was like I can't trust anyone with this shop because I don't want it to be over. And then there's no proper videos for like Reels and TikToks.
Like you don't want to have to review everything. But I do think my friends will get great behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But I also want them in the videos and not feeling like they have to work, you know?
It'll be like a nice mix. People in, people out. You'll have the best content. And I love the wedding day, like TikToks and stuff too.
I know, same. I'm obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm getting fed like 24/7 wedding stuff on TikTok, which I hope it continues. I'm here for it. Like even when I'm done with my wedding, I'd like to continue it. Like I love. It makes me so happy. I love seeing all of those videos.
No, it's going to be fun. And I'm glad you waited. And now you're like fully in it. You had like I love when people have a proper engagement and can sort of like enjoy the moment.
And I feel like it's just nice to soak that in before the stress of wedding planning. And I don't even think I'm in like a stressful phase. I feel like I'm very centered on like it's about the marriage and not necessarily the wedding. So I feel relatively easygoing about it. Like obviously there's things that are important to me, and if you're spending a lot of money, I want it to be what we want, but at the end of the day, it's one day, and the marriage is hopefully a lifetime. So
everyone knows the wedding is for the guests.
Yeah.
It's just a party for your guests, but it is nice. It's nice to like also have everyone come together.
I know.
Like
I'm
friends
excited.
from your like every chapter of your life, your family.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll just feel really special for you guys. So are you sort of like gauging wedding partnerships with content creation, or are you just sort of like, I'm going to do everything myself?
It depends. I have maybe a dress partner, which I'm excited about. I love their dresses. So we're working on that. And then I'm open to partnerships, but like, I don't want anything at my wedding to be like sponsorship look like that gives me such an ick. No shade to anyone that does that. Whatever floats your boat, but for me it's not it. And I feel like I don't want it to be like too staged looking. I mean, obviously a wedding to some degree is staged, but I just can't fathom having something and like having to shoot an ad on your wedding day sounds so stressful. I would still be open to like makeup and like things that are a little bit more behind the scenes. And things like leading up to the wedding, like registries and nails and stuff like that, but not anything
that you have to stress out over there. Yeah. Minted does partnerships. And I actually like Minted. I think they're very...
I am chatting with them for the invitations. I feel like it's like if I can save money on it, I would love to. And if it's something that I would have used anyway, like my sister is also planning a wedding. And
oh my gosh, at the same time.
Yeah. Hers is going to be 2026, though.
Oh, okay.
So We're a little bit spaced out. But yeah, I feel like if it's something that I already want, then it makes sense. But if it's not something that I would have organically chosen myself for my wedding, I'm like, no, I'm sorry. But like, I don't want to compromise for it to be like a partnership. Even if it was something great, like maybe, but I feel like I'm doing my best to like have it be something that I find and then reaching out from there versus people coming in.
Yeah, and it just not feeling authentic. Like one of your, like a hair care partnership, you know, get ready, like just only using that brand for your wedding hair. And I think that stuff is cute. And you're like, I already work with them and love them, and it's just super organic.
Exactly.
Or like a Bloomingdale's or Macy's for the registry. That stuff is super cute and easy.
Definitely.
So lots of opportunities. I know, I feel like whenever someone gets engaged, they're like, what partnerships?
Yeah.
Like my clients, it's the first thing they say. I'm like, congratulations. They're like, wedding partnerships. I'm like, I love where your mind's going.
I feel like as soon as you start hitting the quotes of stuff, you're like, okay, so maybe we could like partner on this.
Yeah.
Because like,
but you can never partner with what you want to partner on. You know what I mean?
No.
Like weddings, people don't realize this, but it's like the stuff that you want to have a collaboration for, it like doesn't really exist. It's like,
I'm like, no venue is working with an influencer. Not photographers.
The only person who has really done it, do you know Bridget in New York?
Yes.
What
was it? Her rehearsal dinner was sponsored by a brand. That was wild.
And she shut down like a whole street in New York.
I can't even fathom the permit cost of that alone.
Yeah.
Her wedding was absolutely beautiful, though.
But I think
like,
it was just all partnerships, but in the most tasteful way ever.
I agree. Her partnerships were very tasteful. Like, if I could execute a day of partnership that was that tasteful, then absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, she just killed it. I was like, I don't think anyone could even match. I'm like, how did you do that?
I know.
People still talk about that wedding.
Because it was beautiful.
It was.
Some degree of me is like, okay, like maybe the wedding is like a press investment a little bit, but I'm also like, I just don't want it. I don't want to put like career stress on something that's not career related.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of pressure, I feel like, for creators now to like have a crazy wedding and kind of make it your personality. Which is fine. Like, once you start planning a wedding, it's very easy to make it your personality. You're like, this is all I'm thinking about, and there's so many emails and, like, things to do for it. But I'm also like, I don't want to build an audience that only cares about the wedding. And then you have your wedding, and then where do they go?
I think too many people stress about it. The best thing that you can do is just, like, post whatever you want that you're excited about. And if you attract followers or people are interested, then that's like a nice bonus. But you're just sharing your story and what you love, and whatever comes with it comes with it.
Exactly.
You know, too many people stress about it. They're like, I need to be like the content creator bride of this year.
I know.
And I'm like, you gotta enjoy the journey.
Just relax. And I feel like that's, to me, that feels like way too much pressure on it, on something that I feel like is just fun and exciting. And I don't want it to be like overwhelming in that way, so I'm integrating it where it feels good. And then letting it go everywhere else.
Yeah, and I feel like then you're not stressed, and you're like, I'm just sharing what I want to share. Exactly. And then you're also keeping things private too, because you don't want to share everything.
I know. You gotta have your boundaries when this is your job, for sure.
Exactly. So I love that. And content creation. So you said 2 years ago, did you blow up on TikTok or Instagram?
I started on TikTok first, which is funny because now I feel like I'm way more of an Instagram girl. Like, TikTok, I mean, it's fine. It's there. I'm posting. I'm not like, I didn't forget about it. But I feel like TikTok goes through a lot more waves for me of being like, we're besties and then we're not so much. So I feel like I've been just putting it out there, but not stressing about it as much.
And how did you so if you're blowing up on TikTok, how did you bring your audience over? Were you one of those?
Totally separate.
Oh, you weren't even, you were trying to grow on both platforms? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
I mean, I was repurposing my content from TikTok to Instagram, and I definitely, like, grew a lot with Reels, and, like, the same videos still helped me grow, but I don't feel like I ever pushed my audience from TikTok to, like, follow me on Instagram. Okay. So I feel like my audience is similar, but different. And for a while, I wasn't posting like the same stuff on each platform, and I was posting way more on TikTok than Instagram, but I feel like most people do that.
Everyone, I mean, it's amazing that you were growing on Instagram because everyone is like, I'm so stagnant. It's such a stressor for everybody.
I know. And I feel like it's weird because now it's just like that viral growth. Like, I love it and support it for people who can do like really steady growth, but I feel like it's not the norm as much. Like, you have your big spurts and then you're kind of like maintaining almost, and then you get like another big jump sometimes, and sometimes it's just like the steady uphill. But
it's definitely,
it goes
going
all over.
viral helps. It's so funny because when you go viral, I didn't realize that post brings you followers for a long time.
Yeah.
My agency, it's so funny, we repost our clients' collaborations, and one went viral. I personally don't know about going viral, but one went viral, and we were just growing like crazy for weeks. I was like, it's still going. This is insane.
And it's crazy, like TikTok in particular, those videos stay forever. Like, I have a video from almost 2 years ago that still gets like comments and engagement to this day. That just went viral for whatever reason. And it went viral like months after posting it too.
What?
So it went viral, and I was like, that's weird. I posted that 3 months ago, but like, that's cool. Thank you.
It's like, why?
To this day, it still gets like clicks, which is odd, but.
That's crazy. So were you working before, or were you?
Yes. Yeah. So I did influencer events for a company called Willa. They used to do like invoicing.
Oh my gosh,
do you remember
I forgot about Willa. Yes,
I think they are no more.
They are no more. It was a great idea.
Great.
But I don't know if whoever was running the business, if they knew what they were doing, because it was a great idea, and then it started really. I'm not going to talk poorly about them, but it just seemed like they came into a lot of issues, but I loved the idea. Loved it.
There was definitely a lot of pivots toward the end.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of like investment VC money infused into the company, and just, they eventually sometimes come around asking for profits. Yeah. And I feel like they were still really early for that phase, but I did events, so my job was to spend money. So naturally, when they were like, we have less VC, that was my job no more, which was crazy. Like, I had been a freelance like consultant for the company for over a year. So I'd been in for a while, and I got converted full time. And a month after that is when I got laid off. Like, I moved to LA a month in, got laid off. But part of my job was helping creators monetize. So I was testing all of these strategies, growing my own platforms, learning about like pitching and outreach and how to help creators make more money. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go all in and see how it goes. And I've been full-time since. So it worked out.
I mean, that's wild. I mean, everything happens for a reason, but you moved to LA for Willa, essentially?
I mean, I wanted to move to LA. I didn't have to, but yeah, I was here on like a 2-week-long work trip. We did Coachella and like some other events in the city.
Remember this because I had partnerships with Willa.
Yeah.
And you're like bringing me back kind of. I forgot about this.
Like, I wish I don't know if companies like that still exist. I think there's one called Peblo, but they only work with agencies directly.
Well, you know what I don't even know if I told them, but they would have calls with me all the time. And I'm like, listen, sometimes brands never pay us, and I have to get our attorney involved. You are fronting the money to the influencer. And then if the brand doesn't pay us to pay you, like, then you're out the money. Yeah. And that was their big mistake because they didn't have, like, they needed to have an agreement. They were just so far disconnected with the brand because it was the brand, me, influencer, Willa, and every agency and every influencer. We can't help if someone goes bankrupt.
I know.
And a lot of people are going bankrupt.
It's a big risk, I feel like, for sure. And I think the companies that do still do that, definitely the fees are higher. Yeah. And they're doing a lot more vetting on your individual invoice. Like, fraud was obviously a major issue with that as a company. Like, there's
And
just no way
then the
around
events, and then the collaborations. I think that just were like, they're like, we have money, we're just gonna like spend it everywhere.
Yeah,
They just went
we
wild.
were very good at spending money. I mean,
Because
that's a great job to have. So fun.
I mean, I can't. I was like, Willa has partnerships and trips and events, and I'm like, no one knows what Willa is except managers.
I know. I mean, our creators did love us. It's a great thing as a creator, especially like when you're dealing with net 90. You're just like, wow, that is insane.
Well, and
to
the
wait
first
that
round of
long.
influencers didn't have to pay Willa anything. They were like
No.
testers. And then I think Willa started taking a percentage. But in the beginning, they
It was
had a
all
bunch
free.
of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the early users. Like,
Yeah.
I knew someone online and chatted with her that worked at the company, and that's kind of how I got in. But yeah, it was a good job while it lasted. I totally wouldn't have left. It was super
Oh my
fun.
gosh, it sounds so fun. Honestly, I just was like, I don't know. Everyone loved it. Yeah, my content creators were so thrilled because what happens is right after they get paid, right? They don't even have to wait. It's like they post and then they have money.
Yep, which is crazy.
Maybe in like another life you'll bring it back or a version of it.
Maybe someone will. I do think it still exists, but exclusively on the agency side. Which makes sense.
I've never heard of anything like that.
I think if you want to find it, Peblo is the last one that I used.
You know, all the influencers listening to this are like, would be
I know.
like,
I'm so sorry if you don't have a talent agency. They only work with agencies. You can't work with them independently, but.
Yeah, it's super smart. So, and then you started posting on TikTok. Did you have a niche or were you just lifestyle?
I started out lifestyle.
Okay.
But like, I started out when that girl was kind of a thing and like healthy lifestyle stuff. And that's really where I started. And I started before working for the company. But I started doing a lot more like trial and error because I was writing blog posts and like chatting with creators all the time about different strategies. Because, I mean, obviously you grow your platforms, you're growing your rates. And when you start making a percentage of someone's invoice, you want them to make more money. So that's kind of where I started out, more in the lifestyle area. But when I moved to LA, I got acne. And I was like, I'm 25. I didn't even know you could get acne at 25. Like, weird. And so I switched a lot more to beauty after that. And I feel like that's more like my home now. I definitely still post lifestyle content, but I feel like a lot more beauty content.
Well, beauty has the budget, so.
That's true.
And I love beauty content. But I feel like if you post a little bit of everything, you're exactly where you need to be. And now you have the wedding, so maybe you move more into lifestyle.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just like
we'll see.
vlogging and stuff.
I'm excited since my parents are coming, or my mom and sister are coming into town. So I'm excited to do lots of wedding dress content and shopping and all of that.
And just sharing all of it.
Yeah.
And for somebody who's just starting out, what advice do you have for just growing? Would you say consistency, the style of content?
Is truly the secret sauce. Everyone says it, and I feel like it took me so long to listen. Like, I was like, there's got to be a hack or like something. And there's unfortunately not. There is no hack or secret that anyone is withholding.
Yeah.
I feel like truly chasing those viral moments isn't even helpful because I feel like you're much more likely to end up with like a dormant audience, which isn't helpful. You're not getting partnerships, you're not building community, you're not really getting what you're after that way. And I feel like if you force yourself to be consistent and you're like, I'm going to post every single day for 3 to 6 months and see what happens, it gives you the time to learn. Like, I always say that it feels like 80% of what I do is just practice. Like, I'm still actively learning, and being consistent to me is the best way for you to really hone in on your skills as a creator and figure out what is for you versus what isn't. And even from the beginning, like, consistency was kind of what helped me grow. Like, when I grew a lot on Instagram, it was after 3 months of posting a reel and a carousel photo every single day. Like, I did not miss a day. And I feel like that really is still what helps. You never know what's going to hit. Like, recently it was a hairbrush being stuck in my hair. And before it was
that
like
one was bound to
something
hit.
else. Not to the degree that it did, in my mind at least. But I feel like Yeah, it almost, the consistency helps you learn, makes you a better creator, and also speeds up the process of getting to the video that's going to hit.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And if somebody is just sort of maybe hitting a wall in terms of the content, like, do you ever have moments where you're like, oh God, I've posted everything. What can I post right now? My life isn't even that exciting. What would you recommend people post?
I mean, honestly, I feel like a video, like, I recently was going through it. Like, I hadn't signed a partnership in a minute, and I was like, I don't know. Like, maybe this is the end for me, the end of the road. Like, it's been fun, but, like, maybe it's time for something else. I don't know. And I posted a video about, like, feeling like I had lost my dream job, and like that video did well. It kind of re-engaged a lot of my community, and I feel like just being honest of like where you're at and meeting people where you are is so helpful, right? Like, we all go through phases where we're like, I don't know what I'm doing, especially in your 20s. I feel like that's so relatable. So having the grace to show up just exactly as you are and not be so stressed that it's like the best piece of content. I feel like I'm willing. There are some creators who I feel are a little bit more strict of like, it needs to be perfect, and I don't want to post if it's not something that I feel like is incredible. But for me, I feel like I focus on just showing up where I'm at, and if that's like a video that I feel like maybe isn't my best video, but it's what I can do that day, like, to me that's okay. And it's more about showing up for the people that are there in my community every single day. But it's also fine to take a break. Like, you don't have to be a super big stickler to a schedule. So I feel like being clear with yourself and honest with where you're at, like, maybe you're showing up and you're like, things aren't going super well, and being a little bit more chatty and open with your community, or maybe that's not your vibe and you're taking a couple days off and just like reflecting, spending more time with a journal and seeing what it is that you do want to talk about.
Yeah. I think that's great. And just sort of just chatting, like, therapeutic.
Yes.
Like a therapy session of like,
Quick
this
little
is
therapy sesh. Get ready with me.
Sometimes I feel like that's like my podcast when I do solo episodes, and I never plan them. I just sort of chat like a TikTok.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh wow, that felt really good.
It's
And I'm always
relaxing.
honest. Like, you could see my like roller coaster of life.
Yeah. And I mean, people want that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's the point of connection that I feel like for a long time social media was really missing. Like, we had the music, we had the dances, we had the trends. And I feel like now it's more leaning into connecting and kind of the parasocial relationships that you build with your community. And we're all kind of going through life together. And I think that that's beautiful.
I do think that is definitely what we're seeing this year, and forecasting next year too, is just people who are just like being authentically themselves and showing up if they're feeling it or going through it or things are amazing.
Yeah.
Because then people are like, oh my gosh, this is a real woman like living a real life, and
Yes.
I can relate to her, and I want to follow her and follow the journey.
Yeah, and I feel like so much so, like, it used to be that you only saw people's highs, and I feel like it's so cool to see not necessarily just the highs and see people on the journey and get to like root for them. There are definitely downsides to that. I think that could be a whole different episode for you someday of like the way that can change when people do see success. But I think it's cool to see the journey for people, and even if it doesn't go crazy, like, that's such a cool thing that you documented even just for yourself.
Have you ever regretted anything you posted?
I mean, all of my early videos, honestly. The learning stages.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what, like, you're going to look back at your videos from a year ago and be like, ew. Like, I even see videos from last year of like cooking videos, and I'm like, ew, that's so shaky. Like, what were you doing? And you had a tripod.
Why were you shaking?
How do you have these shaky clips with a tripod? So I feel like no matter what, like, you're gonna have something that you don't like down the road, and you're evolving as a person, so it's kind of inevitable. Like, your viewpoint and stance is gonna change, but there's nothing severely that I'm like, I hate that.
That you regret.
But
Yeah.
We'll see.
And you're learning, and honestly, no one noticed it was shaky but you.
I know.
Probably.
But now I really notice it in other people's videos. I do.
Yeah. I mean,
But
and
it makes you a better
learning and
creator.
growing.
You grow over time, and you have to go through the process. The early videos are always ugly. Nobody started out perfect making videos. It's not like they picked up a camera and were suddenly a videographer.
Yeah. And honestly, the videos, oh my God, especially the romanticized routines, I find that to be art.
Yeah.
I'm like, how? I don't
Stunning.
get it. It's literally beautiful.
I know.
It's crazy.
I love making those, but
You feel burnout quick with those, though.
I do.
My creators that do the routine, I feel they feel the burnout more than anything because those videos it's a lot to do.
It's a lot to film,
Yeah.
and it's like over an hour of footage for a 1-minute video.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's a lot to cut down. Just the editing
Yeah.
time alone is a lot.
They're like, I don't know if I like TikTok anymore. I'm like, it is the niche you chose. Because there's some girlies who are just in the room on their iPhone just talking and doing a beauty routine and posting and not editing. But you chose this hard life. But it's so beautiful, and I find it to be art, and I love that style.
It is really beautiful. I do too. I watch them. Like, my whole Pinterest board is so lifestyle still, so I feel like eventually it'll make a comeback, but
Yeah. Well, and it's because we all have our own homes now, too.
I know.
Where you're like, okay, I need this, and you want to, like, decorate your home.
I
and
really want to redecorate my whole
Anthropology
house.
pumpkin glass mugs. I want it all. I'm already seeing, like, all of the cute Halloween festive stuff.
It's adorable. I love it.
Yeah. So the big picture, you're a content creator now. You're managing yourself.
I am. I recently left my management, but I'm chatting with a few agencies now, so we'll see where it goes. I feel like I just kind of outgrew my old agency. Like, no hate to them. They're wonderful, and they definitely did a great job while I was with them. But yeah, I'm excited for something new. We'll see if it works out, or I'll stick to managing myself. I don't hate it. Like, I kind of enjoy the negotiating and chit-chatting with people. It just can be a lot. Like, when I went super viral with no manager, I was like, oh no, like this is not fun. I'm spending like way more time on my inbox because anytime you go viral, like obviously you get a lot more inbounds. Mm-hmm. So managing that is a little bit much, but we'll see. Yeah. I don't hate the process, but if the right person or the right agency comes in, I feel like I'm ready.
And that's so funny because I told you that earlier, remember?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, people just... There's so many out there that it's okay and normal to outgrow one and try something. You're always evolving, and so are the agencies. And it's also cool to manage yourself here and there, too.
It is honestly really fun. And obviously the core of this business is relationships. So really honing those myself, I definitely don't take for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's amazing. And then where I was going with that was you're a content creator now, you're loving what you're doing, you're like fully in it. Do you have any plans to take content creation to like have a brand or start something, or like what is your big dream?
My big dream is definitely to start a brand.
Okay.
And I started looking into it earlier this year, and I was like truly blown away by the pricing, and I was like, okay, we need to take a step back. We need to build up the savings, some investments maybe.
Yeah.
And then I will revisit it. But it's definitely on my mind for the future, but we will see when it comes to life. I feel like it's one of those things where the right moment you kind of know and you're like, okay, I'm ready. But I don't think I'm fully ready to step into like CEO Kelly just yet.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like there should be a Barbie name. CEO Kelly.
It feels like it.
No, I think there's a difference, right? Because they say take action, don't be a dreamer, take action. But then also you're planning a full wedding right now. So
yeah, like now is definitely not the time to dump a bunch of money into a business.
Yeah, you have your Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, I have my personal Super Bowl right now. But yeah, in the future, definitely on my mind, and I feel like as a creator, like finding the right thing is important, so really taking the time to develop that and see what it looks like.
Well, I love that. I will definitely support whatever it is.
Thank
Can you share the category? No. You don't have to. I'm just nosy. You could tell me off camera too.
I'll tell you off camera.
Okay. TBD. We'll have to.
TBD.
We'll find out. But I will support fully. And you're gonna kill it, CEO Kelly.
I'm excited. We'll see. We'll see. I did try. I feel like hiring, like even just as a creator, is so overwhelming. So the thought of a brand, I'm like, there is a lot that I feel like you don't think about until you're in it. And then you're like, wow, okay, I can need employees. I need people to do all of these different things. So
yeah, it can be a lot.
We'll wait till we're ready.
There's tips and tricks I can share with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like, the entrepreneurship community online, I feel like is thriving. So
it's so true. And plus, I feel like after the wedding, you're going to be like, what is life? I have so much time. What do I? Oh, I know. I'll start a brand. Perfect.
I feel like I have an extra part-time job, like trying to keep up with it. And I'm so bad at replying to vendors. And then they follow up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's been 7 business days. Like, that was my bad.
Like, you were so professional with content creating, and then the wedding. I felt that way with my book launch party. I was like, oh my God, these people. I answer emails like 2 seconds.
I know,
but then
for my business. Like, but then for that, I'm like, oh, well, okay.
I'm paying
sorry.
them.
I'm paying you. Yeah.
That was my mentality. I was like, work, I answer emails in 0.2 seconds, but these vendors, I'm paying them, so I have time, you know?
Yeah. But also they're booking up, so like I have less time.
Okay, yeah, fair. You definitely have to hop on that and sign some contracts. But
sign some contracts.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love this chat, and I cannot wait to follow along with all of the bridal stuff.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm excited to start sharing more. I feel like I've been a little bit quiet, but I'm ready.
You are ready. It's in the bio. I think the vlogs, my favorite is the wedding dress try-ons.
Yeah,
I love that. So
they're
beautiful.
So fun.
And then like a beautiful like song, like an audio.
I know.
Those
I'm excited to start looking for like the aisle songs and the first dance. Like I haven't really ventured into it yet, but I feel like I'll just spend the whole day like sobbing.
I literally found all mine through TikTok.
That's crazy.
I don't know what
to stroll through TikTok.
Like. Yes, I mean it's probably your whole TikTok is wedding stuff.
It is. It definitely is. It's a little bit concerning, but I'm into it, so it's fine.
Mine is so much so that my book launch party, I got a violinist.
If
you know, you know.
I love that. We're looking at a viola.
Yes, I mean it's so
the live music is just so beautiful.
I love it.
It's so romantic.
Or when it's like Bridgerton vibes of like songs
Mm-hmm.
Like I want the orchestra to play like a slowed down Drake song, just something, or like Taylor Swift. Like I want to know the songs.
Mm-hmm. I definitely
where it's
agree.
Like, wait, that's so cool.
It's so familiar, but it may not click. Oh
my gosh, it's amazing. It's going to be beautiful. And I loved hearing about your journey and like throwing it back to Willa. Oh my gosh, RIP, but such a great idea.
Such a great idea. Someone's going to execute it well.
Bring it back. It was a cool name even.
I know.
Just, yeah. And then now starting a brand soon.
Yes.
So
we'll see.
You're enjoying life's journey.
Yes, definitely.
And then as we wrap up, what is one thing that you would tell your younger self now being where you are in this life?
Let go. Like truly let go. Because I feel like I definitely started out as like a 5-year plan girly, and that just the only thing that I can confidently say is that none of those 5-year plans ever panned out. Like, they all ended differently. I started out in a PhD program in public policy, which is hilarious. I make beauty videos, like how random and unrelated.
Yeah.
So I feel like just learning to let go and follow what you're interested in is so important, especially if you are like a hyper-structured girly.
I love that. And my last guest, she said something so similar. I feel like that's like that's the vibe right now.
Yeah.
Stop planning your life and just Jesus take the wheel.
Live it. Live it. Go out and live it, and you will find your way.
Yeah. I love that. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Yay. Until next time, y'all. Bye.